We are talking about the recording techniques, and among the recording techniques, we have talked about the outline process chart, like flow process chart, string diagram, flow diagram, and yesterday also we talked about one recording technique, travel chart. Okay, so in today's presentation or today's lecture, basically I'll be talking about the three things. One is the recording technique, which is called multiple activity chart. It's commonly known as MAC in short form, like abbreviation. This is one thing about which I will be talking. Other thing is related with the like how to reduce the efforts being put in by the worker during the work. So there are certain principles which have been developed over a period of time, uh, which act as a guiding principle to design a workplace and tools, so that the efforts to be put in by worker during the job is minimized and his fatigue is reduced, so that he can work for longer time without compromising with the productivity. So that is about basically the motion economy principles of motion economy. So there are three principles. About those principles I will be talking and how these are useful. Thereafter, if the possible, then we'll talk about the like how to record the movement of a man who is at work. So during the job itself, not while the worker is moving, but when the worker is working on the bench or on the table or on the machine. So, how to record the activities of a man during the job? For that, we have one tool or recording technique that is called two hand process chart. In short, it is like THPC. It is also known as left hand right hand process chart, because the recording activities of both the hands are recorded separately during while using this technique. So, coming to the multiple activity chart, this is very unique and different from all other charts about which we have talked. So, multiple activity chart. So this is the chart. In all earlier charts, what you have seen that some kind of the movement was involved. We were talking about the flow of activities in the entire plant, like in case of the OPC, or we were talking about the flow of the various activities of the man, material, machines, uh, in case of the flow process chart. Then we were talking about the movement of man or material in both the cases, like flow diagram or string diagram, right? SD. And thereafter we also talked about the travel chart, where movement of the subject or the material, movement of material was taking place in case of the material handling, when we talked about the travel chart. So in all these cases, some kind of the movement was involved across the floor or across the plant itself. Here, this multiple activity chart talks about the talks about the activities when the movement is not involved. So activities of the different subjects. The different subjects means mostly these are the different workers. Activities of the different subjects are recorded. So these workers involved in some common job. So activities of the different subjects or the workers who are doing some common job, these are recorded on a time scale. On a time scale. So here when we do this, we are able to see that how the different subjects are interacting with each other while doing the same job. So interaction between the different subjects or workers is studied. This is what is studied uh, to see when they are doing a common job. So this is very common in a case, and this interaction is studied obviously on a common time scale. So you will see this on a common time scale. Okay, so whenever this kind of the study is done, we are able to identify what is the effective time being spent by a worker, or what is the idle time of one worker, or the number of workers, or of the number of machines. So activities of the different subjects, this can involve not just workers but also the machines which are being considered, okay, during the job. So effective time of the machine and idle time is identified when we develop the activities of the different subjects on a common time scale. And this kind of situation can be observed in number of cases, like four workers are working in a big machine, okay, or four workers are working in a common process, like casting is being done. So someone is making patterns, someone is making mold, someone is facilitating the melting of the material, someone is pouring, someone is cleaning the casting, like that. So that there are different people who are involved in a common activity. So when who is doing what and when, that is what is recorded. So we can say gang work, where the many people are doing the same job, same means common activity, or one worker is working on three machines or four machines. So the job is organized and arranged in such a way that he is able to do, maybe that is explored if one worker who is doing the work on two automatic machines or three automatic machines, after this study it is identified if he can be deployed on more number of automatic machines, or if currently one worker is working on three machines, maybe two workers if are assigned, maybe they can take up the seven machines or eight machines. So by coordinating and by combining the activities needed in these eight machines. So like in case of the automatic machines being taken care of by the one worker or more than one worker. So number of workers. So it is identified really how many people are needed, how many are idle, how many how the machines and the workers can be used effectively. As I said, the this is worker machine process chart, or especially when the number of workers are working, or one worker is working on the number of machines, analyzing the relationship between the operator and machines on a common time scale to ensure that the worker and machine utilization can be improved. Okay, and possibility of one worker attending more than one machine or several workers operating one machine is explored. So how many more machines can be operated by a worker? How many machines can be operated by a worker for maximizing the utilization of the machines as well as worker? And this chart helps to explore the possibility of reducing the idle time related with the workers and machines. Okay, this is an example of the man machine chart, or you can say the multiple activity chart, wherein we can see this chart is related with the name of the operator, department, and activities of drilling the hole in a casting. Okay, drawing number and method, the current method of doing the things. Okay, so in current method of doing the things, what is being done, this is one subject and another subject, and this is a common time scale. So picking up of the casting and places in jig and engage the feed. So this is the time when worker is engaged, and during this time machine is idle in this particular case. And once the feed is engaged, the drilling job is done for this much period through the power feed while the worker remains idle. Okay, then raises the drill, remove the casting and dispose of the chips from the zig. So this is the period during which the worker is engaged and the machine is idle. So if you see in this entire the cycle time, the idle time for the man is 2.5 minutes, machine idle time is 1.25 minutes, working time is 1.25, and working time for machine is 2.5. Total cycle time is this much. So you can see the utilization index of the worker and utilization index of the machine can be identified. Okay, so now we can see in which way this can be engaged. This is the kind of the utilization. So if there are two machines, probably the worker can operate the two machines of the same kind to increase the manpower utilization. This is the another example related with the man machine multiple activity chart. Multiple activity chart means there is a one subject and this is another subject. One is operator and another is a machine. Here what we have is like the common time scale in hours. This is an example related with the inspection of the catalytic converter in a particular plant. So inspection is needed because this is a very crucial part, so it has to be inspected regularly to avoid the breakdowns and shutdown of the plant. So inspection of catalytic converter is needed, and the activities involved in inspection of the catalytic converter includes like electrician removes the heaters. Okay, then fitter removes the top, fitter and his team, electrician and his team, Then rigger fixes the tackle, and after lifting it, the processman inspects the catalytic converter. Okay. And does the setting if required. So the job is basically this: inspection and setting of the catalytic converter involves the use of the electrician, fitter, and rigger and processman. The four people are involved. So this has to be, heaters are to be removed, then the top is to be released, um, then the tackle is to be fixed for lifting purpose, so that the inspection of the catalytic converter can be done. So this is the state, these are the different things that are needed just to check. And after the inspection or setting of the catalytic converter is done, it is done in reverse order, like remove the tackle, fix up the top, and then replace the heaters. Okay, so if we talk of the engagement of the electrician, so electrician is engaged, say, for these first 2 hours, and then this last hour. Okay, fitter is engaged for this much period. Okay, the rigger is engaged for this much period, and inspector or the processman checks for this much period. So the remaining are the ineffective time. So these hatched lines shows the period of the engagement of particular team, like electrician, fitter, rigger, or the processman, while the blank one like this shows the idle time. So if you see, the time required to complete this inspection is 6 hours, and we can also notice the kind of the engagement of the engagement or effectiveness, time effective utilization or utilization index of the different team with regard to the with regard to this kind of the job. Okay. So here, when the job is done, let me see. So this is okay. So this is how, when the process, say in this case itself, now the this is how the MSc is used. Now the critical examination can be carried out, and the questions can be asked to see why it is being done, because the fitter is starting the job only after the heaters are removed. So is it mandatory, or it is important that heater should be removed before the release of the top? So if the answer is no, so the fitter and the electrician both can start their job simultaneously. Similarly, the fitter also can, uh, when the fitter is placing the top, at the same time the replacement of the heater also can be done. So that would help to cut down the time significantly. From 6 hours it may be, so this 1 hour is saved, and another this 1 hour is saved. So that in turn will help to increase the utilization index and reduce the cycle time. Even if you say if the 2 hours are reduced, then cycle time will be reduced from 6 to 4 hours. If it is possible to if it is possible to release the top at the same time when electrician is removing the heater. So this is what can be identified only through the critical examination. And once it is done, then you will see that there is a improvement or saving of the 2 hours out of the 6 hours cycle. So this is the significant improvement as far as the productivity is concerned. So this is what is there in the multiple activity chart. Okay. Likewise, there can be number of examples related to the MSc. So here basically we try to see the interrelationship of the activities of the different subjects on a common time scale, to see if there is any idle time, what is the percentage of idle time, and what can be done to reduce this idle time so that the overall cycle time of a particular job uh, can be reduced, or the effectiveness or utilization of the man or the machine in a situation can be increased. Okay, so this is especially useful when the many people are involved in a common activity, or one person is operating number of automatic machines. Okay, so those are kind of the common situations where MSc is found to be useful for uh, studies and improving the productivity. You know that we started our discussion from the outline process chart, which talks about the activities of entire plant. Okay, then we talked about the manufacturing of a product or part using the like flow process chart. Thereafter, we talked about the various flow diagram, string diagram, and travel chart, which talks about the the movement of subjects across the shops or the plant. Okay, and thereafter, just now we have talked about mm, the interaction of the different in the recording technique to study the interaction of different subjects, like man, machine, and man, using the this multiple activity chart. So gradually, if you see, we have been reducing our scope from entire plant to a particular shop floor, then movement of worker, then the workers working on the different particular set of a gang of workers is working on a particular activity, or one worker is interacting with the different machines. Now we have to see, we have to gradually focus on the work of individual worker, how the individual worker is working. Okay, so look, just to uh, look at the way by which individual worker is working. So working on the bench, or on the work table, or on the machine, or a particular system. How the worker is working, on individual worker is working. So this is the area wherein we have to focus now. The work of the individual worker is to be studied, who is working on a bench or table or a machine, to see whatever is his way of doing the work is concerned, is perfect, or needs studies, or needs further improvement, or needs further improvement. This is little complicated as compared to what we have studied so far. Because we'll be talking about the way by which human being or worker is working on the bench or on the table during the work itself. So if this is perfect or not, or if it needs the improvement, how can we comment on that? So to comment on this, if the way by which the worker is working during the job is perfect or not, we need to be aware of like what he should do when the work is actually being done. Okay, so there must be certain things which a worker should do when a particular kind of the job is being done. So what is that? We can find out the deficiencies only if we are aware of like how it should be done. Okay, so uh, to study if the way by which worker is working is perfect or not, or what kind of the scope is there, what kind of the scope is there for the improvement. To study that, we need to know the certain guiding principles, certain things which, so that we are in position to comment on if the way by which worker is working is perfect or not. So so for that, based on the work studies of hundreds of the workers over a long period of time, many principles have been developed. Many principles have been developed. Principles have been developed. And the first scientist who is recognized and acknowledged for his work in this field, like study the way by which work is being done by a worker. Those kind of the studies are mainly attributed to the initial or pioneer work done by the Professor Gilbreth, and his work was further uh, uh, encouraged or developed or investigated uh, for further improvement in studies related with the work of human being at the work. So another professor who worked in this area related with the study of the work of human being on the job is Professor Barnes, Barnes. So these two are mainly these two are the pioneer contributors in the field of uh, the field of the studies related with the work of human being at the job, or on that when the work is being done by the worker on the table, on the machines. Okay, so these people have worked a lot and they have compiled the entire thing, the way by which work should be done by a worker, so that it requires less effort, it causes less fatigue, and so the worker can continue for longer time um, without much need of the rest. Okay, so the these principles have been grouped by Professor Barnes, uh, which are related with the study of the work of human being during the job or during the work. Three principles of motion economy. These are basically principles of motion economy. These talk about like how the work should be done, how the workplace should be designed, and how the tooling using which worker is doing the job should be designed, so that the worker will require minimum efforts to complete the job, and so the fatigue related with the worker can be reduced. And here time is not in focus, but here the efforts and the fatigue caused to the worker is in focus related with the principles of motion economy. So there are three major principles related with the motion economy. One is the use of human body. So, how a work should be designed so that the human body is used in most effective manner without causing much fatigue. Okay. The second is how the workplace should be arranged. Arrangement of the workplace. How workplace should be arranged so that that the efforts to do the job are minimized. And the third is related with the design of tools and equipments to be used by the worker. Okay. So this both these are basically related with the ergonomics, and we will be talking about these in detail little bit now and little bit later when we will talk about the ergonomics. So broad guiding principles I'll be talking here, and in detail how do we design the different tools and equipments to be used by a worker. About that we'll be talking later when we'll talk about the ergonomic related chapter. Okay. So, starting with the use of the human body, like, so it is about that the work should be designed in a particular way so that the job is done in most efficient manner without causing much fatigue to the worker. Okay, so whenever possible, a work should be designed in such a way that the two hands two hands should start and complete their movement at the same time. Two hands should and and end their movement at the same time. This is one. Okay. The second, like, two hands should not be idle at the same time. Two hands should not be idle at the same time. Idle at the same time except when there is a rest. So when the worker is taking rest, it is fine. Then the movement of the hands should be symmetrical. Two hand movements should be symmetrical and opposite. Like uh, moving opposite direction and at the same time. This will be causing less fatigue rather than doing the opposite things. Like one movement is stationary and the two are moving in the same direction. Okay. So and should be made simultaneously. Motion of the hand should be symmetric, opposite, and simultaneous. Then the hand and body motion should be made at the lowest classification. Uh, Hand and body motion should be made using the lowest classification. This needs a little clarification. Like, what is the body motion should be made using lowest classification. Okay, so this needs a little clarification. I'll in the sub when I will use PPT, I'll clarify this. What is the lowest classification? Okay. Then whenever possible, use the momentum so that efforts to be put in by the worker is reduced, and whenever possible, the continuous and curved movements are used. Curved movement are used over the straight line movement. So instead of the straight line movements, the continuous and curved movements should be mm, used, or the work should be designed in such a way that uh, the continuous curved movements are preferred over the straight line movements. Then the movements like free swinging movement or the ballistic movements are used for the faster, easier, and accurate movement as compared to the controlled and the restricted movement. So, the free ballistic movements are preferred over the controlled movements. Over the controlled movements. Then it is good that if there is a rhythm uh, in when the job is repetitive in nature, so to do the job, the different activities are arranged in such a way that there is a rhythm for a smoother and automatic performance of such kind of the job. Okay, so that the natural rhythm is developed while doing the work. And the lastly, as far as the use of human body is concerned, the work is arranged in such a way that the eye movement is limited. Otherwise, there is a lot of fatigue just in searching here and there for the things which are needed for doing the job. So the eye movement is confined to the comfortable area without need to frequently change the focus. So limited eye movement and in a confined area. What is the preferred and confined area? I'll talk little later, because there is a certain area only which is considered to be the most preferred, and thereafter you will find that there is a need of there is a lot of fatigue in doing the job. Okay, if the things are not placed in the preferred area of the work. So these are some of the things related with the use of human body. About the arrangement of the workplace and design of the tools, I will talk in the next lecture. And also, I have to talk like the two-hand process chart. This is related with the use of the human body only, and designing the tools and equipments. So, how to design a work so that the human body is used, or the minimum efforts need to be put in by the human body for doing the job. So the two-hand process chart is basically related with the the way by which worker is working during the job. So it involves the principles of the motion economy. About that I will talk later. The about details of other two principles like arrangement of the workplace and design of the tool. So I will talk in the next lecture. So that's it from my side for the day.